Thanks so much, Ken Workington, and welcome to the Sam McKee Memorial Broadcast Set on this Saturday evening in January. I'm so happy to be joined by a young driver, Brett Beckwith, of course, for an In the Sulky segment. Happy belated birthday. Not a bad birthday week. 17 wins this week.
Yeah, you know, it's been a really good week. I can't complain, and it's been fun.
All right, we've got plenty to cover on our little In the Sulky segment, so I want to get right into it. About a year or so ago, we had you on to kind of talk about you in the business. It was just after you got in your first Big M win, but I want to refamiliarize our fans with who you are and kind of how you got brought up in the business, because we know you do come from a harness racing family background.
Yeah, you know, my mom, Melissa, and my dad, Mark, are a big influence in my career. They kind of raised me into the sport. I wasn't incredibly interested in it at the start, but eventually I started going to the barn a little bit more, and they taught me everything I know.
How far back does harness racing go in your family?
It goes generations. I think my dad's side and my mom's side have at least 3 or 4 generations.
So it's definitely in the blood, like it is for most of us that are in the business. You started driving in 2019, but you weren't exactly involved with harness racing from the get-go. How did it become? How did you become involved? And is this something that you ever saw yourself doing?
At the start, it was nothing I saw myself doing. I wasn't interested at all. If I went to the track, it was literally just to go hang out with some friends or whatnot. But it was actually coming here the one day with my grandfather was a huge influence on it. And, you know, I've always wanted something in common with me and my dad. And, you know, like we had everything a father and son normally has in common, but I just thought that, like, if I was to get into racing, it would have something that we both had in common.
Be able to bond over,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
the father-son bond. All right, last time we had you on the set was December of 2021, and it was right after you got your first Big M win. Last night, there were 2 drivers that scored a driving triple. You were one of them, and Hall of Famer Dave Miller was the other one. What does that mean to you to come so far in such a short amount of time?
You know, I've just been blessed with a lot of opportunities from countless people, and I can't even make some of the stuff up that's happened along the way. Just a lot of luck for sure. And like you said, having the same night that Dave Miller had is always a good thing.
All right, we're going to bring up your 2023 stats because you had an incredible year, a career best year so far. In 2021, you earned $1 million, 113 wins. In 2022, you earned $2.2 million, 230 wins. And in 2023, at 20 years old, $4.4 million, 453 wins. That's quite the achievement. Did you ever think you would excel so quickly, we'll say, from the last time you sat here on the desk?
You know, not at all, honestly. You know, it's usually a steady grind. Takes years and years and years to get to where you want. And, I mean, I'm really liking the way things are progressing. And like I said, it's been a lot of good opportunities.
You were ranked number 7 in the country for wins, for dash wins. What was it like to you to look that up and see your name amongst, you know, many top drivers, Hall of Famers like Tim Tetrick? What did that mean to you to see your name with them?
Oh, it's a huge honor, you know. Like every single one of those guys that's on that list, I look up to every single day, and you try to watch what they do and mimic it. And, you know, I had a really just a lucky year last year. It was fun.
You know, you had a lot of opportunities cross your path in 2023. What was maybe your best moment?
You know, there's a lot of good moments along the way, but racing in the Joe Garrity up at Saratoga was probably one of my highlights because it's at my home track, Saratoga, and a lot of people came out to watch, and a lot of my friends. So that was one of my favorites.
Speaking of Saratoga, Mary McDermott put together a really nice match race between you and top jockey Flavien Prat and kind of brought both of the breeds together. I mean, they're literally right across the street from each other, and I saw pictures of how many people were in the stands. What was that experience like, the crowd and just the whole experience as a whole?
Yeah, Mary did an excellent job putting that on. Kudos to her there for sure. And, I mean, it was a great time. That night, you wouldn't believe the amount of fans that were there. And, you know, everyone was just there to watch that race. And a lot of people came up to either me or Flavien and said they wanted to see it again. So I'm hoping it's something we could put back on.
Are you going to have a match race? Maybe you can get on the horse?
You know, I don't have a great track record getting on top of horses. There was little bit of a video of me that went around
boy.
2 years ago, thoroughbred riding, and it didn't end well, so probably not.
All right, well, maybe we can get him back. He even got involved in owning a racehorse, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Kevin McDermott trains that one, and yeah, he did.
It is kind of cool to see, you know, the breeds get put together. I know Naira did a lot with promoting that event, and events like that really does help, you know, kind of put in perspective each side of the breed.
Oh, 100%. It's great for the fans, and it's great for the business.
All right, I know your parents have had a huge influence on you and your racing career, and of course your family as well. But if there was one person outside of your family that maybe has helped you along the way or influenced you, who would you say?
You know, it would be extremely tough to kind of pinpoint just one person. There's been so many people to any of the different racetracks I go to. Like, you know, I go to Freehold. My buddy Brandon, he's from the moment I turned 18, he put me down to drive, which is, you know, tough to do. 18 years old, it's his own horses, he's got to make money too, but he's been loyal to me since then, you know. There's been so many people. Plain Ridge, there's a lot of good people there, and I've had a lot of good opportunities from a lot of good people.
All right, we're going to bring in a few roll-ins, I guess you could say. There's 3 roll-ins I want to talk about. You've had the opportunity to drive for, you know, a few top trainers in the sport with our top guys out like Jim Campbell, Ronnie Burke. The first roll-in I'm going to bring up is in a division of the Tompkins Gears for trainer Jim Campbell, and it was Storm Cloud Fashion. It was a non-betting race, but this horse was able to get the job done for you. What were your, I guess, thoughts on this horse?
Oh, you know, I just wanted to make sure he minded his manners and didn't do anything and didn't go off stride. He had a ton of go that day, and I really enjoyed him. He was really well-mannered, especially for a 2-year-old. You don't usually see that, but Jim does a great job, so that was to be expected.
The next one I want to bring in is Splash of Pink, and you've had an opportunity to drive a little bit for Ronnie Burke over the course of the last year or so, and I know you told me this horse was going to be good this night, and I didn't listen to you, 11-1, but she was, you know, really nice this night.
Yeah, she was, and just so everyone knows, I did tell Jessica that I loved that horse that night. But that's whatever she did is beyond me. But no, I've had a lot of good opportunities from Ronnie. He's gave me a shot on some good horses before, and she's definitely no exception. She really likes her work, and she likes her job.
And lastly, we'll bring up a Roland Kovu. Oz wins from off of the pace, and you've driven a little bit for the Lorenzens, not only here at the Big M, but down at Chester and over at Yonkers I saw this week as well.
Yeah, you know, Annette and Anna and the whole team there have gave me some good opportunities driving some really nice horses so far, so definitely no complaints.
All right, and in this race right here, Kovu Oz come from well off of the pace, and you kind of had to hold them together there, didn't you?
Yeah, you know, that probably wasn't my greatest drive ever, but...
All right, there's plenty of youth in this sport, including yourself and myself, but there's also a lot of people, you know, boys and girls that are looking to come up in the business. What is the best advice you have gotten or advice that you would give somebody that really wants to try and break through?
The best advice I could give anyone, it was instilled in me by my dad for sure, and it's work ethic. No matter what, you have to have a work ethic, especially in this business. In my opinion, you won't get far if you don't.
2023 was a very busy year for you. Lots of miles on your car, lots of miles on the racetrack. What does 2024 look like for you?
2024 looks to be the exact same. I'm going to try to drive as much as I can. If I could go 7 days a week, go 7 days a week. If I can go 2 tracks a day, go 2 tracks a day. I like to stay busy.
Where does Brett Beckwith see himself, we'll say 5 to 10 years from now?
You know, I'd like to be competing here, and I'd like to make the move to Jersey and race Meadowlands, Chester, and, you know, eventually hop on the Grand Circuit with some of these guys, but it'll take the right opportunity to cross its way, but for right now I'm just grinding away.
One last question to ask you tonight in race 2. You have Concur from Post 5 coming off of a solid 2nd place finish last week. What do you make of him tonight?
You know, I actually really like this horse. I know certain people that have drove him before told me, you know, he's not usually the most ambitious one, but I've seemed to get along with him pretty well, and I think he's got a shot in here if he can get a good trip.
All right, Brett, thank you so much for joining me on In the Sulky. Congrats on a great 2023. We wish you all the best in 2024, and good luck tonight. We're going to take a quick timeout, and when we return, Dave Little will hop in that seat, and we'll talk about tonight's featured action.